At the exact moment a 400-foot-tall steel tower reaches out and catches a falling rocket out of the sky, there is no room for delay, no room for softness, and absolutely no room for hydraulic lag. Because if Mechazilla is even a fraction of a second too slow or too imprecise, you don't get a successful catch, you get a catastrophic failure. That raises a question almost nobody asked at first. Why did SpaceX quietly abandon traditional hydraulic pistons, the same technology used in heavy machinery for decades, and switch to electromechanical actuators for one of the most extreme engineering tasks ever attempted? The answer isn't just about efficiency, it's about speed, control, failure modes, and something far more dangerous: unpredictability. By the end of this, you'll understand why hydraulics, despite their raw power, became a liability, how electromechanical systems unlocked millisecond-level precision, and why this single decision could define the future of rapid rocket reuse. Because catching a rocket isn't just difficult, it's borderline insane, and the difference between success and failure comes down to how fast you can move massive steel arms with absolute certainty. The idea of Mechazilla, a giant launch tower equipped with chopstick arms, sounds like science fiction, but it's very real. Instead of landing legs like Falcon 9, Starship's Super Heavy booster is designed to be caught mid-air by these massive arms after re-entry. We're talking about a booster roughly 230 feet tall, or about 70 meters, weighing tens of tons even after burning most of its fuel, descending under precise engine control. Instead of touching down gently on a pad, it must align perfectly with two moving mechanical arms that clamp onto hardpoints near its top. This isn't a soft landing, it's a dynamic interception happening in real time. Traditional heavy lifting systems like cranes and excavators rely almost entirely on hydraulics because hydraulic pistons are powerful, robust, and capable of generating enormous forces. For over a century, they've been the backbone of heavy engineering. So at first glance, hydraulics seem like the obvious choice. You need to move giant steel arms, use hydraulic cylinders. Simple. Except Mechazilla isn't a crane, it's a high-speed, closed-loop robotic system that has to react faster than a falling rocket, and that changes everything. The core engineering problem SpaceX faced was deceptively simple to state, but incredibly difficult to solve. How do you precisely control multi-ton arms moving at high speed while synchronizing with a descending booster that is actively correcting its own trajectory in real time? You're not just moving arms to a fixed position, you're tracking a moving target that's falling from the sky at hundreds of feet per second during early descent, then slowing dramatically to just a few feet per second in the final moments, all while making constant adjustments. This creates a control system's nightmare because the arms must not only reach the correct position, they must match the timing of the booster's descent within fractions of a second. That's where hydraulics begin to show their limitations. Hydraulic systems rely on pressurized fluid, typically oil, flowing through valves and cylinders to generate motion. They are incredibly strong, but they introduce delays and inconsistencies due to fluid compressibility, valve response time, pressure fluctuations, and temperature-dependent viscosity. Even tiny delays become critical here. Imagine a response lag of just 50 milliseconds. That sounds incredibly fast, but at a descent speed of just 10 feet per second, the booster moves about 6 inches in that time, enough to completely miss the catch point. And timing is only part of the problem. Alignment is equally critical. The booster must be positioned not only vertically, but laterally within inches. If the arms close too early, too late, or slightly off axis, they introduce side loads that can damage both the vehicle and the tower. On top of that, hydraulic systems don't behave perfectly under rapidly changing loads. When the arms make contact with the booster, the load spikes almost instantly. Hydraulic systems can experience pressure surges, oscillations, or bounce effects due to fluid compressibility and elasticity in hoses and seals. That's extremely dangerous because Mechazilla doesn't just need to grab the booster, it needs to stabilize it immediately with no oscillations, no rebound, and no second chances. This is where electromechanical actuators fundamentally change the equation. Instead of fluid pressure, these systems use electric motors, typically high-torque servo motors, combined with gear systems, ball screws, or roller screws to convert rotational motion into precise linear movement. The result is a system that responds faster, behaves more predictably, and integrates seamlessly with digital control systems. Electric actuators operate on millisecond response times and provide continuous feedback through high-resolution encoders. That means the system always knows exactly where the arms are, how fast they're moving, and how much force they're applying. This enables advanced control strategies like PID control, feed-forward correction, and even predictive modeling, allowing the arms to anticipate where the booster will be rather than simply reacting to where it is. Hydraulics can be digitally controlled, but they cannot match this level of responsiveness and precision. Another critical advantage is stiffness. Electromechanical systems are mechanically rigid, meaning when you command a position, the system holds that position firmly. Hydraulic systems, on the other hand, behave more like springs because of fluid compressibility and structural elasticity. When you're catching a rocket, the last thing you want is a spring. You want a firm, controlled grip. Repeatability is another key factor. Electric systems produce consistent, repeatable motion with extremely tight tolerances, unaffected by temperature changes or fluid properties. When your margin for error is measured in inches, consistency is everything. Then there's the issue of failure modes, something that often gets overlooked but is absolutely critical in high-stakes engineering. Hydraulic systems can fail in unpredictable ways: leaks, pressure loss, valve sticking, or sudden drops in force. A ruptured hydraulic line can instantly disable the system, potentially leading to catastrophic outcomes. Electromechanical systems, by contrast, can be designed to fail in controlled and predictable ways. Motors can be braked, power can be reduced gradually, redundant systems can take over, and sensors can detect anomalies in real time. It's the difference between a system that suddenly collapses and one that degrades gracefully. In the context of catching a rocket, that difference is everything. Synchronization adds another layer of complexity. The booster isn't just falling, it's actively communicating and adjusting its trajectory using onboard computers, GPS, inertial sensors, and engine vector engines. At the same time, Mechazilla is tracking the booster's position and velocity. This creates a coordinated interaction between two dynamic systems. Electromechanical actuators enable control loops operating at hundreds or even thousands of updates per second, allowing the system to continuously refine its motion. Hydraulic systems simply cannot achieve that level of responsiveness. Beyond the catch itself, operational speed becomes critical. SpaceX isn't building Mechazilla just to demonstrate a cool engineering trick. The goal is rapid reuse. Catch the booster, stabilize it, reposition it onto the launch mount, inspect it, refuel it, and launch again, potentially within hours. Hydraulic systems require pumps, reservoirs, fluid maintenance, and thermal management. They're complex and maintenance intensive. Electromechanical systems are simpler, cleaner, and easier to diagnose, with fewer supporting systems. That directly translates to faster turnaround times and higher reliability. Of course, there are trade-offs. Hydraulics excel at generating extremely high forces in compact systems. Electromechanical actuators must rely on powerful motors, high-efficiency gearboxes, and advanced materials to achieve comparable force levels. We're talking about managing forces in the range of hundreds of thousands of pounds. To make this work, SpaceX likely uses large servo motors combined with precision gearboxes and roller screw mechanisms designed for minimal backlash. Even tiny amounts of mechanical slack can introduce positioning errors, so these systems must be engineered to extremely tight tolerances. This decision reflects a broader shift happening across aerospace and robotics. Modern systems are moving away from hydraulics towards electrically driven architectures, especially where precision and software integration are critical. Aircraft are increasingly adopting more electric designs, replacing hydraulic systems with electric actuators for flight controls and other functions. Mechazilla fits perfectly into this trend. It's essentially a massive robotic system interacting with a flying vehicle in real time. This isn't just a mechanical challenge, it's a systems engineering challenge that integrates hardware, software, and control theory into a unified system. And the implications go beyond catching a single booster. If SpaceX can make this work reliably, it opens the door to catching Starship itself, enabling rapid orbital refueling, increasing launch frequency, and even enabling point-to-point Earth transport. All of these concepts depend on rapid, repeatable, and precise operations, which in turn depend on systems that can be controlled with extreme accuracy.
What we're seeing here is a fundamental shift in how rockets are designed and operated. For decades, rocketry was dominated by brute force, more thrust, more fuel, bigger engines. But the future isn't just about power, it's about control, fine control, precise control, repeatable control. The ability to perform complex operations with reliability transforms rockets from experimental machines into practical transportation systems. And that's what SpaceX is really building, not just rockets, but infrastructure. Infrastructure that operates with the precision of software and the strength of steel. So when Mechazilla's arms reach out to catch a descending booster, you're not just witnessing a mechanical action, you're seeing the result of a profound engineering shift, from fluid-driven power to electrically controlled precision, from unpredictable dynamics to deterministic behavior, from good enough to exactly right. That's why hydraulic pistons had to be replaced, because in the world of rapid rocket reuse, precision isn't optional, it's survival. And in that final moment, when steel meets steel under immense force, everything comes down to